three punch things: your brand, your story, and your authority. Because you are your brand. And so we're here to celebrate that. And Judy has a lot of, you all know me, but I want you to hear what Judy has to offer. And together, yes, hopefully we'll all, we want it to be interactive and engaging. So if you have any questions, go ahead and pop it in the chat or raise your hand. And Judy, you have anything to share?
Well, I was just going to say, I have been writing most of my life, but I took a break from creative writing for about 30 years because unfortunately I took a class in college and the instructor did not like my writing because I didn't write procedural police dramas. I never will be writing those. I write something else. And so I gave up on that and I started just doing straightforward, nonfiction, business oriented writing. And then in about 2011, I was in a mastermind group, and one of my friends wanted to produce a book. It was a collection of his cartoons from the Vietnam era. And we went to a conference. And I walked in the room at this conference and I went, oh, these people know how to write, but they do not know how to market. They are clueless. They were all introverts like me who were very happy sitting alone in a space and writing, but talking to people was deer in the headlights. So I walked around the conference and I listened to the experts and I said, I can help these people because I've been doing graphic design and marketing for years. And a book is a product. So I took off, not thinking I was going to start working on my writing again. But you know what happened? I did. And I was so grateful for that. And so as I started sharing and teaching all the people who needed my help, I started getting back into my own writing. And as a result, I've been president of the Bay Area Independent Publishing Association. I'm currently president of Redwood Writers. I've offered coaching, one-on-one, group programs, group classes, and I continue to be curious and bring things together. And I just have a ton of resources. So I'm going to be here to help you navigate. And I just want to say my position is most of the time, you don't need to do paid anything. It should be authentic and organic first. And if it's working, then you can throw money at it. So that's me. And I live in Sonoma with 7 chickens and my husband of 42 years. Yeah. He still likes me. I don't know, but that's the question. And it actually came up last year. We had at Redwood Writers, we had a really great workshop about how do you streamline the submission process. And the speaker is a multi-award-winning published poet. And it wasn't just about poetry. So she said when she first was sending out work, she sent it everywhere. And then she realized, and she got published. So she thought, oh, this is a breeze. But then she had rejection. And the thing is, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the quality of your writing, whether or not you get accepted. It has a lot to do with what else is on their plate.
Yeah.
What else is like the hot ticket item right now? And whether or not you have found either the right agent or publisher if you are going that direction, or whether or not you have chosen to do some excavating and deciding, well, I probably can handle this myself with help but to publish it myself. But there are so many different kinds of publications. There's journals, there are magazines, there are online publications. There are some publications that do both print and online. Who is it I'm serving? Who would like what I'm doing? Who is it that will accept submissions and then really have a routine, a routine where you send out several pieces, like, batch it, so that, just think about it, like when you cook, same thing as when you are cooking. It's a whole lot easier to cook a whole bunch of stuff on one day than it is to go, oh, what am I doing? You're where you are. Give yourself props for the fact that you've done as
That's
much
right.
as you've done.
That's right. You're right.
Exactly. And
Excuse me.
sometimes if you plan an event like what Sandy and I are doing today, you might want to say, oh, I'm going to check out, is there a local stylist, or is there a stylist that I know? And we'll do something together, which will spur you on to
Right.
get more done.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got more control of what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you're going to promote. You're going to still do all that work for promotion,
Yes.
whether you
Yes.
are waiting on somebody else to publish it.
Right.
So why do that? Why not?
Yeah.
I'm going to publish this. And doing your query, that still sets you up for doing your marketing. Because think about it. You now have a marketing plan. You've now said, this is my book. Here's my audience. Here's what I plan to do. Here's some of the things I've done in the past. Here's what I see as the outcome. And so now you can go through there and say, okay, who could I enlist to support me as I'm doing this? And the more you build your community, the easier it is. And your publication date is a single date. So your launch can be multiple parties. You can ask for help as you're going through the through the process, and go, okay, I've got these chapters done. I would love to hear what you think about this. Is there something you want to know about this topic? Ask people you know. Ask them to be involved, and they will come and help you, and they will share your loveliness with everybody they know.
Very true.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is a community the same thing as platform? Because you hear about like authors getting, wanting to get published by, say, traditional literary agents. Like, what's your platform? How many people do you have in whatever it is? Whatever, if it's your YouTube channel has 20,000 followers, or your is a community. I have worked on some book launch teams for authors, but I was on their list and they said, we're looking for people to be part of the book launch. And so what we would say is, you get like a pre-copy of the review, you promise to buy it. Then you say, I'm going to review it on, say I'm reading it on Goodreads, and then do a review on Goodreads, and then also do it on Amazon. Well, you have to actually buy from Amazon, I believe, before you can publish a review on it.
That is true. Well, Amazon has a requirement that you have to have purchased.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's
$75 or $100, and and then you can post a review. Where people get a little confused on this. So think about, do you belong to a church? Do you belong to a gym? Do you belong to a book club? Do you belong to a group that does volunteer work for, I'm going to say, helping people learn how to garden? Do you, think of all of the places where you have connections. That's one thing. Then online, you've also got some connections, but I could tell you, I have 100,000 followers, but what's my engagement?
Yeah.
And
that's the deal.
We are really, you don't need to have so big of a group following you or who knows about you, but that does help. but you really want an engaged group. So you could have a small list. You could have a list of, say, 100 people. Loves you. They open everything you send them. They talk about you. They are willing to share your stuff. That is way better than having a bunch of people who have just been sitting on your list for 100 years and they've never done anything. And so you want to be paying attention to how active are my relationships. So the more you build your relationships, the better. And you can do that by, as Helen was saying, I published articles. Okay, that builds credibility. But now you've published that. This is what I suggest doing. You let everybody who's on your email list know, oh, I just published a new article and it showed up in Ms. Magazine.
Right.
And I wanted to let you know, because you may not be a subscriber, but here you can go look at it online. And if you know anybody who you think would be interested in this story, please let them know about it too. So now you've done that, but that's only one time. And Sandy will tell you this. If you only saw something once, how likely is it you're going to take action?
Right.
And maybe not right that minute. But if suddenly I'm seeing your stuff everywhere and people are talking about it, and I'm not telling you to buy anything, I'm sharing information that is useful to you. That's when you start getting the momentum ball going. It is being generous and kind over and over and over again, being willing to give things away that will be more beneficial to you in the long run. And then you can say, oh, my book's coming out on blah, blah, blah day. I'd love for you to take a look at it. And in fact, here's a link. You haven't sold them anything. You've just said, my book's coming out. You didn't ask them to buy it. You didn't do anything else. But think about this. If you've been giving people good value and you've been giving them information and you're helping them and you're sharing, when your book comes out, do you think they're going to go out and buy it? More than likely, yes, because they like you, they want to support you, and boom, you get the momentum from your relationships. So think about, how often are you talking to people? What are you doing to help them out? And how can you leverage that? How frequently are you showing up as a helpful person and just giving things away, your time, your knowledge, links to other things, or you found something and you said, oh, hey, Sandy, I know you've been looking for a video editor. Here are a couple of different programs I've used. And you send the link off. I haven't sold her anything. So
Yep.
that's my recommendation to all of you.
That's the way you build relationships and grow your influence. And so that's, where we're trying to share is how to, the art of authenticity is just sharing from your heart and your genuine gifts that you have. And all of you, are very generous in that. But there's a way to strategize who we're reaching out to. And I think Judy kind of touched on that when, you're thinking of who you're trying to reach, who your niche is, where they hang out, where you're going to be more active, where you have the opportunity to have a conversation with them. And ideally, if you're able to physically get, in front of them is the best. The old fashioned, no one can replace human touch and real, what do you call that? Real life?
Real life, yeah. IRL.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to, do more live events, but yeah, and finding networks and also this comes back to our personalities too, of what feels natural. So some of us are more introverts. I think Judy had mentioned that, which is more reserved. And, maybe it's not so comfortable. It takes a little bit more effort to get out there and reach. You have others that have high eyes, like Helen, who you give her a stage and she's just natural at it. And by the way, she was a high fashion model, so she's used to all that. And then you've got the S's who, they are stuck in the comfort zones. They don't like to get out, so they need a little bit more encouragement to get out there. And you have the C's who they think they have everything. They have to have everything perfect. They have to have all the ducks in the row before they even do anything, and it immobilizes them. So they need to be encouraged to just get out there, and then you kind of figure it out as you go, because you can't guess on what others would like unless you get some feedback. So you need that to be open to that interaction. And so you can see, and again, to remind all of us that we have a little of all of those 4 personality styles, and we just need to recognize which ones we need to rise up a little, that we need to, intentionally try to improve on. And those areas that it's not coming to us, that's when we should seek out others that can support us and can balance them out. Because I've done some events where I'm a high IS, but I need someone to take care of the details, because I don't like details as much. It's no fun sometimes. But that's where I love joint venture events, because then you can just collaborate and connect with those that, you share some value and goals. Well,
We just
you
go on and on.
you have a passion to encourage girls to have step up in their authentic self. And I think just by putting on, taking care of yourself, putting, some makeup on, some jewelry and nice clothes, it
Yeah.
builds your self-esteem
Right.
and builds your confidence.
And it's fun,
Yeah, it's fun. That's the I. Yeah.
Totally. It is totally fun. Do you know what was funny? When I was going through chemo, I have a whole closet full of wigs. People gave me wigs. I bought some wigs, but I would get dressed up for every session. And so they never knew who was going to walk in the doors. Today going to be Judy's pink hair day, her teal hair day. Is it going to be her big Dolly Parton wig? And part of the reason I did that is because it made me feel better.
Yes.
I had no eyebrows, I had no eyelashes, but heck, what I did is I walked into Sephora before everything fell off, and I said, okay, I'm going to be doing this. Help me out. How can I still look good? Now I've got a tan today, but I will tell you, during chemo, I permanently looked like I had a tan, because it changes the color of your skin. But I didn't worry about being bald, because I didn't wear anything on my head at all for about 4 months. And then I started all these things. And you know what? It was my smile that always was consistent. And there were very few days that I didn't have that with me. And I start there, and then I would just dress from, and every time I put on something that made me feel good, I felt better.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's great.
But you've got a message and the boldness. And this is a tip too. One of my friends is a stylist, and she did a couple of events where she partnered with a boutique, a photographer, a makeup artist, and a caterer. And so they did events and invited an exclusive group of women, and we all came in. So we were shopping. We got to try things on. Shelly interviewed all of us ahead of time. But the reason she did that is so she could pull clothing she thought would be good for us. Somebody would put something on, we go, I want to try that on too. Well, the store made money like crazy. Shelly was rewarding her existing clients, and she got some new ones. The photographer got some new clients, and I worked with her, I think, 3 times since. Collective event did so much to build business, but we had fun.
Yeah.
Put something on, they'd come out of the dressing room and you go, oh no, that's not it. Or I would never have picked that, and it
Yeah.
looked so amazing. And we
Amazing.
can all do that. We can all do that with what we do and what we say. We can pull together complementary people, and then you've got a bigger audience. Because I know about, let's just say the average is, as they have done statistics on this, I know about 250 people. Helen, 250 people. Sandy knows 200, and I know Sandy knows way more than that.
Yeah.
And Meredith knows 250 people. So if we did an event together, we now have, there's going to be a little bit of an intersection,
Sure.
but mostly not. And so now the word has gone out all over the place, and you get to meet new people. I get to meet new people. You just
It's a
multiply the
win-win-win.
love.
Yeah. Yep. So Helen, I see an event coming, and you've got your sister there to the, I know she likes to party too. So you could pull something really together that would be beautiful, and it will be encouraging for, you can share your passion.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a hairstylist there, you have makeup artists, you have photographers, make your own red carpet runway, you
Yeah.
know.
It's just amazing what you do when you have confidence. You just say, I'm going to do this. This is part of me. And what that does is help other people, because then they look at you and they go, wow.
Yep.
Every time.
Absolutely. And you could look at, are there, if you decided you wanted to do it, are there groups of women who might be needing a little boost? Maybe they were in, because Meredith, you said you worked with domestic violence. So there might be women who were in domestic violence and now they have escaped that. But now this is the first time maybe that they've been on their own. They've got to build a wardrobe and act as if they are the people they know they can be. So they might need some help picking out the right clothes for them. Maybe they haven't had that chance, or they've been ill and now they're, coming back from that. So when you partner, you've got information and you partner with another group. It could be a nonprofit group. That is another way to expand your influence. So that's kind of what I do, is I look at, what are your themes? What are the big themes in your stories? Are there bigger themes out in the world that parallel what's going on in yours? Can you connect? Is there an association? Is there a group? Is there a story behind the story that can make that bridge?
Right.
And it's all authentic, because you're not trying to do it to toot your own horn. You're actually sharing something, as Sandy said, from your heart. And when you do that, magic happens.
Magic happens. That's true. That's true.
I think Meredith has definitely experienced that.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And it's a journey, and you'll have times, Helen, where it seems like nothing's happening, and that's okay too. It's just part of the journey, I think. And with your books, like, they're always going to be out there, and you can pick up the marketing, put it back down again, but it is a lot of fun, I think.
That's wonderful.
The whole
Well,
journey.
we are a little past the hour here. We've been having so much fun. What I'd like you to do is, in the chat, please put your link to your book or your website or anything that you'd like to, I'd be happy to share that with others so they can connect with you, and we can encourage you with your endeavors that you have. We're here to support. I do with a lot of my coaching is I start with, helping them to find your personality strengths. And so even like with Meredith, when you were mentioning the ones that go through domestic violence, or anyone who it could be of value for them to see their natural gifts, their natural wiring, and then because they're kind of rebuilding their identity, and that kind of helps us get grounded. And for anyone, when we're trying to build a business or in leadership or in parenting, it's so important for us to independently really have a sense of who we are and what our values are, and go from there and get in alignment with what we feel that we're called for. You guys have some great dreams and goals there, and we're excited to support you with that. And Judy, did you want to share a little bit about how they can reach you? Or
And I put it into chat. Next
Okay.
Tuesday,
Okay, good.
you're invited to come to a group that I co-host. Sandy and I are both members of the Grand Connection, and I co-host monthly with Melody Owen. It's called the Grand Authors Group, and we're going to be having as our guest Thomas Gay, who is the creator of Engage Pro and Chat Bridge. And he's going to talk about building those relationships and how that can make a huge difference in your book marketing, in building your business. He's the absolute best at that. And then you can also schedule a free session with me for about 20 minutes or so. And we'll talk about specifically what your challenges are. And if you've got a specific question about, well, how do I do this? I'll do my best to help you figure that out.
We have a great, happy Friday, a wonderful weekend. Just try to connect with Judy and I, and we'll help you get to the next step.